anyone been able to find his mean for us? Okay. If you haven't been able to find it yet, do you want to maybe tell me how to find it? I'm going to tell you how can we find it? Good. Yes. Yeah. Yes, exactly. So to get our mean, we want to get our average. Now, you've mostly probably seen average in your report card. There at the bottom. Get that? But how do you get that? You simply add all the numbers together and then divide by the number of numbers. So in this case, our mean is 2, 5, 6, 7, 10, that's 14. Divided by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. Then you either are very good at mental math or you type it into your calculator real quick. And you're going to get a number. 7. Okay. So that means our mean or our average is 7. Okay. Our median. 6. Okay. Let's see if we all agree. This one's quite easy. So 1, 2, 3. We found our median. Right? Okay. Now, last one is our mode. 5. Yes. Okay. Now I'm gonna mess around with our data set. I'm gonna add another 10. So we're gonna have the same data. So we have 2, 5, 5, 6, 7, 10, 10, 14. Okay. The question is, what changes? So of course here in our mean, we now add 10 and we divide by 8. Anyone want to do that calculation? We've now got 7,375. Okay? So our new mean for this new data set, 7,375, right? Okay. So our mean can have an estimate, even if our data is only whole numbers. Right? And it makes sense that our mean went up because the number we added was larger than our previous mean. Okay. Now, our median. What are we going to do now? We've got an even number of numbers. So if we go and we look for our middle, 14, 10, and then our middle is going to end up being there, right? Yes. So what do? We add then these two numbers together. Sorry that my colors are all over the place. We'll work on it. Okay. And now we say, okay, 6 plus 7 divided by 2. In this case, it's easy because, it's just 6.5. Sometimes the numbers can differ a bit more. Okay. There's 6.5. Right, now our mode. What has happened to our mode? We've got 2 modes. Yes, and that is possible. It's very possible to have 2 modes, 2 numbers that are in fashion. And in this case, it's 5 and 10. Okay. It's also possible to have no mode. So if this number said you just remove 5, then we had no mode. Okay. Fantastic. Fantastic. Now that you've got those definitions down, let's have a look at our little graph over here. Okay. Firstly, can you guys actually read it? Is it readable? You can't see that, Eleni. Can you read now? Okay. So, now I have a question for you. Is this a bar graph or a histogram?
Histogram.
Yes, it's a histogram. Fantastic. Okay. So, I would like you to please copy this into your book. It shouldn't take all that long. What you can do is you can use the lines of your book as those lines, and it should be quite quickly. If you have yet to calculate, write down the definitions, or to calculate this, please also do that. I'm just going to we remember the difference between a histogram and a bar graph. I know we all identified this as a histogram. Can anyone tell me why? Yes. Yes. So there's no space between the bars, but also no space between the data. So that's actually the important thing. When we're naming it, our data set is continuous. So even though we've got a little gap here, it's still possible to get 66. Whereas a bar graph would be discrete, so non-continuous. Like colors, saying some are wearing blue jackets and some are wearing purple jackets and some are wearing green jackets. You can't really say someone is wearing in between the two. It's not really continuous. Okay. So for our histogram, we want a continuous set. Good? The numbers. No, there's nothing there. But that's just a little line. So that's just an empty path. Okay. Right. So these questions can be done going from a graph to a frequency table, or going from a frequency table to a graph. Now we're going to practice going from the graph to the table. Okay. Now, have you seen a table like this before ever? No? Maybe? Maybe a long time ago. That's okay. So how can we write? Okay, let's see. So we've got now grouped data. So our data is no longer just random points. They've now been put into little groups, which we call class intervals. Okay? So this over here is a class interval. Okay. So once you're done with your graph, you can draw a little table. We're going to start filling it in. You guys don't have to do the dotted lines. I simply did the dotted lines to make it easy to read. Your line pages should make it easy to read. I hope. But I don't have a line board. So let's see. What is going to be our first class interval in this case? Yeah, 61 to 65. Okay. Our next class interval. Yes. So even though it is empty, we still add it. You don't want to forget about it. Then you can continue on like that and add each one of our class intervals into your table. Okay. 5, 6. Ooh, 18. know it's a lot of writing. The graphs are very neat. I've simply divided my frequency into two because I want to show you two different ways you can write it. But okay. I feel you know how to fill in your frequency table? No? Yes? Maybe? Okay, let's see. How can we fill in a frequency table? First question is, have we got any idea what frequency means? I've asked you, what was the frequency of rain last week? It was quite high. Say, we had about 4 days of rain, right? Maybe more? 5? We had quite a high frequency of rain. So, frequency is how many times, or how many of those we have. So, how many people, in this case, got within that class interval of marks? Okay? So, for our first class interval, our frequency would be 1. Okay. For our second interval, 0. Nobody got that. So there was no one there. Okay. For our next one, 71 to 75, what was our frequency? 2. Yeah. Not all that hard. Just need to understand which words mean. So here's about 3. Sorry, I said that I wrote those very small. It is just going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. So okay. So the reason I split it is there is a thing called a tally. I'm just going to show you how this works. It's not. You know those? Yes. Yeah. Okay. So I just wanted to show you how a tally would work and make sure we all can read what a tally is supposed to look like. Looks like what they do in those cartoons in the prison. They counted down the days. Yeah. So you might get in a test, you can get a tally, and then you should just at least be able to read it. But it's not that hard. We've got 4 upright lines and then a 5 going through it. So every time you see one of these, group together, that's 5, and then you add the other line. Okay? So filling in from our tally or our graph, we've got 3 for that class interval, and then 81 to 85, 6. Okay. 86 to 90, 1. Then we have 6 again. People are overachieving. 3. Okay. And then our matching tallies is just 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1. 1, 2, 3. Okay. So if you get a data set like this that you have to group, it's sometimes easier to first do a tally. Or maybe you have a very big data set, or sometimes you use the tally. Let's say you were told to count the number of people that walk past you in the hall wearing certain things. You can sit with the sheet, and every time you see someone, you can just draw a line. It's much easier to do than to do the math every time. Now you see 2 people, you quickly draw 2 lines. And then afterwards, you process the data and turn it into action numbers. Okay, so let's see if we can find our modal class. So a mode is our specific specific data point that appears the most often. Our modal class is the class interval that appears the most often. Making sense? So what is going to be our modal class? Yeah, so 81 to 85. And also that, because we can once again have two. So, okay. Does someone want to calculate the mean for me? Now we got a plan for how to calculate our mean. Okay. So what mark are we going to give this person? Because we can't put into our calculator 61 to 65 times 1, right? We can't say there was one person that got that whole range. They had to have gotten a mark. We don't really know what exactly that is. So the most accurate one we can use is our middle value. Okay, so I'm just going to erase this little blue thing that says modal class here. So we can add R, or what is the fancy word for that? Our midpoint of the class interval. Okay. And it is exactly what it sounds like. It is the number in the middle of our class interval. So, anyone who tell me what our first class midpoint is? Everyone agree? No. Did you do that by inspection? Did you calculate? How did you do it? You just, yeah.
Reduction just before break. Netball practice first break for all under 16 and under 19 players. That's netball practice first break for under 16 and 19 players. Pom pom girls making a new wall. Pom pom girls making a new wall. Choir practice during break in Miss O'Brien's class. Choir practice during break in Miss O'Brien's class. Yeah, must please also attend the choir practice. Can all junior peer educators go to room 6? That's all junior peer educators go to room 6. Thank you.
Okay, so just gonna quickly finish this. I want you guys to fill this in at home so that when we start we can compare all our answers. So what you do, you calculate your midpoint, then you take your midpoint times your frequency, and then you can use that number divided by the total number to get your